Bailey.
Oh my gosh, aren't we so cute?
We're precious, and we didn't even plan that. What?
No, but I did plan to remember this week that it is
Well,
afternoon for you, which I always forget.
I understand it. Whenever you've only lived in like a couple of time zones, it's kind of hard to keep it all straight. So
Doesn't
you're
everyone have
forgiven.
the same experience that I do? I mean, isn't that just
Absolutely not.
universal truth?
Absolutely not. Also, like, you're a little close. I don't know. I'm struggling with all of the things. I can't with me today.
It's okay. It's all right. We're
Can't
here.
with my hair. I can't
We're
with my
here.
life.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Jason popped in to say hello and give a thumbs up this morning, not afternoon.
Hello,
Afternoon
Jason.
for him. Not sure if he's still here, but he was the first comment, so gold star.
Congratulations. You did
Yep.
it.
Judy is here and Sing It is here. New Mexico and
Sing it
Chicago
loud.
representing. Excellent.
The Windy City. I tell you what, weather-wise, it's looking a little windy here. And it's very gray, and it feels very, very West Coast, like Portland, Northwest situation happening out my window right now. It's pretty gray, and it's been pretty gray the past couple of days.
Yeah, we've had some nice weather interspersed with like thunderstorms. So it's been weird. But it hasn't been like the solid rain, which is good.
Sure. The number one thing I loved about being in Portland when we were there was the fact that my allergies were suppressed tremendously. Mostly because like the coniferous trees were so abundant, but also the fact that like all of the constant drizzle kept the pollen kind of like suppressed. It was great.
Yeah. One of the benefits.
Definitely a benefit.
Wilson is here, and you said you met and it was Stacy.
Stacy, yeah,
right. Not Stephanie.
I totally did.
And JM Sweets is here from Wisconsin.
What part of the Wisconsin are you in? Must know. I've lived there.
I don't think I have. Oh. Celia is here and Patty is here. Oh,
I've been to Olympia, I think.
And Olympia, yes. Yeah, we got some blue sky here for now. We'll see how long it lasts. It's supposed to start raining here pretty soon. Julie is here, yay, and Lynette is here. I saw Lynette in your video from today. I watched it today, but I think you posted it yesterday.
I did.
Your Keto Palooza video. I was like, hi,
Lynette. We love Lynette.
Yes, we do.
Oh, the sun just popped out from a cloud. That's exciting. Yay. So my lighting's going to be even weirder.
It's all good. All good. It goes with our whole vibe.
It really does.
Andy got the giveaway package that I mailed. Yay. I'm so glad it made it.
Excellent.
That is wonderful. That was fun. I finally, figured out with help from others that you can do giveaways from a live stream chat. Like picking a random chat
inside the chat. Is that through the Restream software or is it?
You have to do Nightbot, which I still don't fully know all the things the Nightbot does, but it's like an extra helper to live streams. So you can use Restream and Nightbot also. It's all complicated, but I figured out how to make it work. So we did it.
So some of the things that my brain does not do well with is a lack of SOP, standard operating procedure. If I have an SOP, I can try to manage all the things. When we were in college going through like aviation school, they would have a checklist and you do the same thing in the same order and you would say it out loud. That way, if you skimmed through it like with your eyes, and you were still saying it with your mouth, it would sound off to you if you didn't say all of the things in the same order every time. And that would help you to catch something if you were going to miss it. And I do really, really well with things whenever I have a checklist or an SOP or something to like go through. And so like the concept of doing like all of the complicated live stream softwares and add-ons and all of the things, it's one of those things where it's like you're in a cafeteria and you're getting to pick and choose which pieces you put on your plate. but that means then you have to make choices, and you have to know what those things are, and then
Right.
figure out how they all work together. And I don't have the bandwidth for that in my life
Yeah.
right now.
So, yeah, I got that one piece of that Nightbot figured out, and then, I haven't looked at it since. And, like, with our live streams, I'm always seeing, like, I'll come across a picture or a meme or something, I'm like, "Oh, that would be fun to throw in our live stream to show everybody," and then I'm like, I have not figured out how to do that yet, so
Yeah, yeah,
that's where I'm at. Maybe one day. It's like, it
yeah,
has to be, like, little bites every once in a while, and that's the way that I started YouTube. Uh,
yeah,
like, I knew nothing about editing or filming or anything, and I just
yeah,
did something, whatever I could do, and then over the years, gradually like, "Oh, I learned this feature on iMovie, like, wow, that does that. Now I add that to my repertoire of tools
yeah.
that I can use," and same thing with the streaming, like, we started out with
Just a
just
live stream
YouTube.
on the
Just YouTube.
YouTubes.
Yeah, and then we, added all the little other things and, so
And
eventually
we are still babies at it.
eventually we'll be real YouTubers, but until then, enjoy the ride.
Hey, look, Chris is here too.
Chris is here and Jen Bob is here, said, "Missed me at the Utah meetup." Yeah, I missed being there as well. It didn't work out as I had hoped. We had a family thing, so but eventually we'll get out to the Keto Chow meetup. That would be really fun. Let's see. Bill is here from Florida, and Chris Bear is in the house. Let's see.
JM Sweets is from the Milwaukee area, so like the
Ooh,
exact opposite side of the state from where we lived, but
yes,
it's
yes.
not a huge state.
Not far from us. Um, got as far into Nightbot as to set it up to spam the live stream chat with FAQs. Yeah, there's like it tries to help get rid of spammers. Um, and so when I activated Nightbot, all of a sudden it started, putting people in timeout or threatening to put people in timeout for using emojis and weird stuff like that. And so I deactivated that because I'm like, I don't want that. I don't need that.
Right.
So it's very complicated and it is what it is.
Sure.
Let's see. Connie joined at the perfect time. Excellent. Lori
Splendid.
is here from Lexington.
We might be a little bit blurry, Lynette. My internet has been having some hissy fits. I've noticed. So,
You don't look too bad to me, but that doesn't always
well,
mean
you look
anything.
pretty. You are a tiny bit fuzzy, but it's more like a softened effect rather
Okay.
than like
Yeah.
actual blur.
I feel like that's how you're looking to me as well. So hopefully, as long as everyone can still hear us.
We'll see if that improves things.
What did you
Chris
do?
Bear just suggested that Lindsay's a little blurry, but Neely is at 720p. So it just upped mine to 720 because that was not set properly on
I don't even know
my
how to
deal.
set
I know how to do something Neely doesn't. What?
that. Yeah.
There's that little gear down underneath like the image. And if you click on that, you might be able to look at that setting.
Oh, yep. I'm as high as I can get. Upgrade now to get full HD.
I don't need full HD, thanks.
But I prefer a little blur. Just a little.
Chris says that improved the visual clarity, but
Excellent.
the word clarity is still questionable at best.
I mean, there's only so much a software can do for that.
Accurate. You're not wrong. It is what it is. Right.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. Sophia is here from Wheaton, Illinois.
Very
And
cool.
Gigi's here.
Hello.
There you go. All right. Well, and Sing It says that I am a real YouTuber.
Yeah.
The realist, yes, if that's a word. Yeah, we try to be real around here. I always say I don't have time to be fake. It's like all I can do to just show up and be what I am.
I am what I am.
There you go. So what are we talking about today?
I don't even know. I sent you a video that I watched.
Oh, yes,
Um,
and I watched it. I
did
did.
you watch it? Okay. So, do y'all know Dr. Becky Gillespie?
Yes.
Gillespie. I can never do that properly. She just put out a video talking about how like variety is actually creating a problem for us, those of us who care about our health and our, our weight in perspective of our health. So I thought that was a fascinating movie video, bless. um so I thought that was really interesting, that the concept of having a huge variety of foods is actually a detriment to those of us that are concerned with our actual weight on the scale, which I was like, wow, the things she brought up about you can feel full from one particular type of food, and then as soon as a different type of food shows up, your palate feels refreshed and able to take on more food.
Yes. Yeah, that was really, like, driven home for me when I did all of my experiments, like the egg fast and the sardine fast and even the keto chow fast,
Yeah.
where it's like, man, it doesn't matter how delicious a food is. If that's the
Yeah.
only thing that you eat, like, you hit a wall.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
I like that, like, that's a really good piece of information to have and to recognize that when you're, wanting something salty after having something sweet, that it's probably not hunger. Like, that's an important thing to recognize. But what I felt when I did those mono food fasts is that it didn't take care of cravings.
Mm.
Like, after I'd eat, be full with something sweet, like keto chow, or be full with eggs and cheese, I'm like, "I just want something else." Like, I still had that, like, I need something. And so for
Something
me,
to finish.
yeah, and so for me, like, trying to figure out a balance of a way of eating that takes care of the hunger so that you're not hungry and also satisfies you so that you're not having cravings for other things, like, that's what I need. So I don't think it would work for me. Like, I wouldn't be happy doing mono foods. Like, one day I'm just gonna do egg fast. The next day I'm just gonna do, whatever the bacon fast. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel satisfied,
Yeah.
even though I'd be so full of bacon that I wouldn't want any more bacon,
Mhm.
but I wouldn't be happy. So anyways, like, it's a piece of information that I think is really important, but for me, it hasn't been like, "Oh, that's the one thing I needed to know, and now everything is great."
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
I did find like her illustration of man versus food with that big giant sundae ice cream thing,
Oh,
how he
yes.
ordered french fries midway through because palate fatigue is a thing. And that makes me think back to when you did your sardine challenge. Like you probably experienced palate fatigue in the midst
Oh,
of all
man.
of that.
First
And
bite, I had palate fatigue.
definitely.
Yeah.
Um, and I kind of think back to when I first started down the path of not eating sugar or processed flours or like standard American diet foods, and I started off with Trim Healthy Mama at that point, and then immediately like figured out that I was doing keto in reverse. um but it was like I did not have a broad spectrum of recipes to draw from, or I didn't have the same budget that I have now. And so back then it was like, how can I get this? How can I switch my way of eating as cheaply as possible without sacrificing, like my health overall, but also not feeling hungry or, like constantly feeling deprived. And so it was a lot more simplistic back then. My
Mhm.
creative juices were not quite as stimulated at that point because of the fact that I was just trying to understand how was I feeling on these different foods, which foods were good for me, which foods were not good for me. So it was like my
Wow.
brain was consumed with learning a new thing And now I'm just constantly like, well, what else can I make? What else can I do? What else can I do? And it's
Right.
like, find more variety. And, variety is the spice of life kind of a thing. And I'm like, I love the variety. I love being able to choose different things and it still fall well within the realm of acceptable for my choice in the way that we eat. But then again, I'm like, also the simplicity of not having it be so vast and so
Mhm.
like such a
Yes.
broad opportunity to choose from. There was less decision fatigue back then.
Right.
Maybe it wasn't the worst thing on the planet to eat the most basic and simple things. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I feel like for me, and this is just for me, um, like I have to find some kind of a balance because
Yeah.
I will be in a place where, like, if we all know, like, you eat sugar and processed food and junky stuff, it, like, just stimulates the cravings, and you're in a place where I just need something else. I just like, and you eat that, and it's like it doesn't quite satisfy, and so you go try to find something else, and you're in the pantry, like, what is it going to be, And obviously, that's not a great place to be. But I find that if I like my knee jerk reaction is like, okay, then I'm just going to cut out everything and I'm going to have such a simple diet and, go completely carnivore, eat only lion diet. And for me, what I've found is that when I do that, it almost has the same effect on me as the eating the processed food. It's different, but it's similar in that I'm just consumed with thinking about food.
Hmm.
And there for me, there's, like, gotta be a balance of eating simple enough that it's not just, like, stimulating the cravings from, the blood sugar ups and downs and stuff like that, but then also enough, like, pleasure and
Yeah.
enjoyable food that it's, like, satisfying some other I don't know all the different parts, like, something like getting the dopamine or I don't know what, but because I definitely do that where I'm like, I'm frustrated with, you know, my appetite where it's at and like that I'm having these cravings. So to get rid of that, I'm just going to go so far on the other end of the spectrum that
Yeah.
then I won't ever think about food. And I actually end up just hyper focusing on food
Thinking about food.
and like nothing is satisfying. And so I found that to be the case when I did my 3 months of carnivore. I found that to be the case when I did BBBE. I found that to be the case in September when I, went kind of more strict, went dairy free, and cut back things. It was just like I wanted this to help me not think about food, but in the end, it
That's
just
all you can
made
think
me
about.
think about food, and I know some people would say, "Well, you're still an addict, and if you just went harder for longer, that would go away," and I'm like, "Well, maybe, I don't know." But
Yeah. Yeah.
but I
So
don't want to.
I'm pretty sure that what needs to happen is you don't just need to be carnivore, you need to be raw carnivore, and you have to go down to the creek to drink your water direct from the stream.
We have one of those, so that's good.
I just see this lining up beautifully. You're gonna rock it with raw carny,
Mhm.
and it's gonna be great.
And you have
Um,
to keep going, like, at least 5 years
just keep
before you start
going.
seeing the benefits.
Also, if you start to feel just like a twinge of less than ideal, stick of butter
Yeah.
down the gullet.
Well, yeah, and, I've heard that Lindsay knows what I'm gonna say. I've heard that if you eat sticks of butter, it's only effective if you do it on camera and
Yeah,
post it
yeah.
either on Instagram or on YouTube.
Mhm,
If you
mhm.
don't, it's like it didn't happen. So the only way that you can fix your hormones is to eat the butter and post it on social media. I
Accurate
don't make the rules.
facts.
100%.
Fact checked. Correct.
Okay, so this kind of relates to what we're talking about. Milady Laughs a Lot says, for those of you doing the 2KK B and E challenge, 4 days in, whoo, that's a rough spot to be. I need variety, another steak. Well, okay. Yeah, so like maybe we're no help here because like I just struggled so much with the palate fatigue and the boredom and the thinking about food. I do think it does lessen the longer you stay super strict. So I do think that that's a thing. Um,
Yeah.
I just for me, it's like, unless I'm going to stay strict forever or for a really long amount of time, like staying strict and then not being strict for a day and then going back to strict, like that just leaves me in a
Weird
really
spot.
tough mental place where I'm just thinking about food all the time. But as far as ideas, uh, one fun thing to try would be the steamed egg pudding.
Oh,
That's a fun recipe.
delicious.
It's obviously more fun if you can sprinkle like stevia or allulose or something on top to make it sweet,
Or like
but
cinnamon.
yeah, and well, and cinnamon's a spice, so maybe that would be okay on BBBE in just a really small amount.
Oh, cinnamon
Um,
and nutmeg.
but it's just a different texture, sometimes you just need a little bit different of a texture. The egg white crepes that
Yeah.
I make, only ingredients are egg whites and gelatin, and if you get a beef gelatin, then that's totally BBBE friendly. You can make them with whole eggs as well if you want the extra fat, but like slather those with butter, make a breakfast burrito with one of them, like throw in some eggs and some bacon and I don't know, ground beef or something, like that would be delicious.
Or air fry
Just
them up and make them chips to
yeah,
give
so
you a
if you
different
want that
texture.
crunchy,
Because
if
I
you're
think the
sick of the
texture is
bacon crunch.
also,
Yeah, and you can totally, like, fill up, one of the wraps with ground beef and roll it up and then, fry it in a pan or fry it in the air fryer, and then you get, like, a chimichanga type thing.
yeah.
So those are a few ideas of, just different textures, something different than just a steak or a pile of
Yeah.
bacon. Do you have any other ideas for BBBE?
As you were talking, I was thinking, I wonder if like Cholula is considered appropriate since it's zero carbs. But I was thinking like the chimichanga concept, if you took like tallow and melted it down, but added in some Cholula to make like a dipping sauce.
Mm, yeah.
That sounded pretty delicious to
Yeah.
me.
Oh, you could do, like a butter mayo or a
Mm-hmm.
tallow mayo and
Mm-hmm.
do some dips with that with just a little bit of seasoning in there. That would be really
Yeah.
good.
I also made um a PSMF friendly, like a lean friendly mayonnaise a couple years
Oh,
ago.
yeah.
And if you could like mix in some seasonings to that you were comfortable with, then you could do it that way. If butter mayo itself is sort of trickier for you, that kind of
Yeah.
works.
Yeah, so and then also I was just thinking, the my protein breading recipe, it uses
Mm-hmm.
pork rinds, which would be out for the BBBE, even though it's similar to bacon, but I don't know, it's a
Yeah.
gray area, I think. But you could use like a beef flour in place
Yeah.
of that. And then you can't, do chicken tenders, so that would be tricky, but you could make some kind of like beef nuggets with ground beef maybe. Like, take some ground beef, add some egg, and then coat little nuggets in the protein breading.
For sure.
Um,
For sure.
yeah, so those are a few ideas. You could do, like, a chicken fried steak.
Yeah.
That would be good, and then, dump some kind of a tallow creamy sauce on top. Anyways,
Well, I was sitting there just thinking of how like the Wagyu tallow is definitely like a spreadable from the jar
yeah,
consistency, and like you think it's just like it just
like
looks so
perfect.
dippable.
Oh, yeah, yeah. There are things you can oh, another thing you could do, is lemon juice okay on a BBBE? I don't know. I was
That is a good question.
I was gonna say hollandaise sauce.
Maybe if you're using it like at a teaspoon amount
Yeah, like if you're using it
for an
like in a
entire
slice.
recipe or something.
Like a hollandaise or a béarnaise sauce where it's mostly just egg
Yeah.
yolks and butter, like, that would be
In
delicious on anything,
ooh
poached
for
eggs.
okay, so when I make my beef tallow, or not tallow, my beef broth, bone
Mhm.
stock, I've gone through and I saw something on somewhere about how you can actually blend the bones after you have turned them
Oh,
into broth. Like, you can use your soup bones several times before they've kind of lost their muchness.
yeah.
And you can take those bones and you can blend them into a gravy Did you know this? Did
Uh,
we talk about this? I feel like
no,
maybe I've mentioned
no,
this in
I've
the
heard
past.
people talk about eating bones after they're, like, super soft, and it always sounded so horrible to me.
So I'm not exactly sure. Like I did this the other day, and it's sitting in my fridge right now, and it looks like pate, honestly, and it's pretty wild. But I don't know how to use it from that point forward, and I'm a little apprehensive about it. But it does look like it would be like an ideal thing, like once it's kind of warmed up and looser, because like right now it's like solid,
Yeah.
to use as like a chip dip
Oh.
after you make the egg wraps into
Uh-huh.
chips from the air fryer. I just
Alright.
feel like the texture issue is the tricky part when it comes to the triple B and E
Oh,
challenge.
yeah.
And so like I'm constantly thinking like, and that's another thing, like the whole concept of the variety is the spice of life, and the like my brain is constantly like, oh,
Right.
what else, what's the
Yes.
next thing we could do, what's more creative, could this be better, could that be better, like all of these different things, when maybe the simplicity of it is really where the value add is.
Yes. Yeah, that's again where it's like there has to be a balance, where it's like you don't wanna take it too far and start going nuts with all of these ingredients,
Right.
because then you're, like, shooting yourself in the foot if you're trying to work through a food addiction or, your fixation on food.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it's like if you go to, "I'm just gonna eat dry steaks every single day, every single meal," then that can, have have a different but similar effect on you. So and it kind of depends on your own personality. Because some people, they're just like, I don't care about food. I just want to not be hungry. And they eat as fuel, like they go fill up their car at a gas station. And I'm sometimes jealous of those people. But um, it's like if that works for you, if that's your personality, and you can do that without the fixation on food, coming upon you, or the just the unrest. I kind of feel like there's this unrest in me where I'm just like, ugh. And maybe that's a problem. Like maybe I need to work through more of my issues, but I'm not.
Yeah.
So
I I feel similarly to the fact that like I just want to try something different, and
yeah.
what's next, looking to the future of what could I do differently, or why bother perfecting one thing when I could totally change the entire equation and go in a completely opposite direction. Like,
Yeah.
why would I try to go to the grocery store the same way every time when I could try to find totally different back roads that might take 8 times longer?
Why not? The other recipe I was gonna throw out is I have a recipe for whipped bone marrow. That I
Yeah.
did a while back. That's good. So that's another, like, a whole different layer of texture and flavor and just something different to play with. If you're sick of steaks, it's really good, like, on a steak. Like, just you have a steak, instead of adding a thing of butter to it, you add, like, a blob of the whipped marrow, and it's like whipped butter, but a different kind of a flavor. So good. Speaking of beef fat, I
Let's chew the fat.
I was cutting up my big brisket from my half a cow that I got recently. And I'm gonna be doing that part of that in a video here
Wait,
soon.
so I need some detail on this.
Okay, go ahead.
What did you do cutting up a brisket? Did you just separate the point from the flat?
So what I'm gonna do with it is there's a brisket setting on my Dreo chef maker,
Ooh.
but the basket is, only this big.
Sure.
So I need a piece of brisket only this big. So basically I had my giant brisket and I cut it into 4 pieces.
Okay.
Is that sacrilegious?
It's gonna be great.
Okay. Go me. Anyways, so watch for a video on that soon. Maybe it'll be a complete fail, which YouTube loves fails, so that'll be great. Um, don't make fun of me.
It's gonna be awesome. So excited.
Anyways, there was like a big chunk of fat on the brisket, like it has, and they had trimmed it pretty well, but there was one just big old
Ah.
chunk of fat. So I cut it off and I rendered it. And let
Mm-hmm.
me tell you what, that tallow looks like butter.
Yeah.
So yellow.
For
It's
sure.
so
Well, it's because it's
yellow.
not the kidney fat, like suet
Yeah.
is like official suet is kidney
Yes.
surrounding and whatnot. But
But
yeah,
I was so struck when I tasted the fat on the steak, and then now that I've done the tallow, it has a smell of butter. Like, obviously, it smells beefy also and tallowy, but, like, it's buttery.
that's awesome.
Crazy. It's so
I
good.
love it.
I was so excited.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, we've missed a lot of
Yeah.
people's conversations here.
My
And
brother is in the chat, and he's talking about, trying to distinguish between hunger and cravings, and asking yourself if you're hungry for anything or just hungry for the one thing. Yeah, that is very helpful, where it's like, "Would you eat a dry chicken breast right now? Does that actually sound appealing?" That might mean you're hungry. Very cool, yeah. Yes, and Chris and Lynette are saying that is a fantastic point. Let's see.
listen, if I'm truly hungry, I will eat any flavor of keto chow.
Yeah, that's my test.
Actually, I'll eat any flavor of keto chow even if I'm not hungry.
Question, regarding that, what is your least favorite flavor of keto chow that you've tasted thus far?
Oh, okay. It's
We always talk about the ones we love, and I think it's probably important for people to know the ones we don't love as well.
pina colada is not my favorite because coconutty flavors are not it for me.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan,
Yeah.
which is kind of like why the keto brains, I've been putting it into keto chow, and that
Mm.
masks the coconuttiness
Mhm.
enough for me to consume it that way. So yeah. Jared likes the pina colada though. He has no issues with coconut flavors. But that for me, like that goes back to childhood. My mom used to make, or she still makes, a German chocolate pie that has coconut like flakes in it. And the
Mhm.
flavor of the coconut mixed with the chocolate would make me gag. So she
Oh,
would always reserve a little bit of the pie filling and bake it separately without coconut.
yeah, why would you, like, ruin chocolate with coconut, especially if it's, like, the shredded coconut and the texture?
Ugh.
Like, why? Why? I mean,
I've
that's
tried so
mean.
many times to like coconut. It's not taking. I can't
Yeah,
make it work.
I totally overdid coconut in, like, my paleo days when
Yes.
coconut oil, coconut flour, like, it was all the rage, and, like, there kept being recipes with coconut flour, and they're like, "Oh, this is so good, it's just like, regular bread or regular muffins," and I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it," and then I'd do it and be like, "What did I do wrong? What's wrong with me?"
I mean, like I do use coconut flour like in a blend of like my baking blend, or I will use coconut
Yeah,
oil, but always
totally.
refined, which
Yeah.
makes me feel like less of a crunchy mom. But it's like the coconut flavor is just it's just a no go for me.
Yeah. Did you ever do the coconut oil chocolate? Like you
Yeah,
did. Yeah, because
yeah,
they did that with Trim Healthy Mama.
yeah. But I
And did you
always
like
did it
that?
with the refined
Okay.
coconut oil.
Okay. That makes sense.
And the deeper I got into trying to make it into something it wasn't, the more ingredients I would have to add. And all of a sudden it was no longer just fat and a little bit of sweetener and a little bit of cocoa powder. All of a sudden now it was like we got to have the protein in there. We got to have a little bit of coconut oil. We've got to have all of the cocoa powder and all of
Yeah.
the sweetener and all of the salt and all and all and all and all. And it just like it kind of grew to be so I kind of am thinking of Ghostbusters 2 whenever the ooze was a thing, like the ooze, like the pink ooze stuff that would come out of the bathtub and everything. So all of that, like that's sort of how it got to be. Like it starts out small and then all of a sudden it becomes this entire
Oh,
monster that we need the Ghostbusters to come and contain.
yes.
So
Yes.
that was kind of the way that all of that sort of like came about for me.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I remember, like, there was this whole movement of just add more coconut oil to your diet and you'll lose weight. Like, just pound the coconut oil all day, every day.
Shot glass of liquefied coconut oil, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden the reason you're losing weight is because your body is giving up everything from the inside out.
Yep, and you spend all day in the bathroom. You can't do
That's
anything but
right.
eat coconut oil and be in the bathroom.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
So I also
Mm.
struggle with coconut oil. I used to try oil pulling
Yes,
for
I've tried
oral
that as
health.
well.
And just like the feel of the coconut oil and the smell of it. Now, granted, I was pregnant with our second at the time when I first started doing this, and I didn't know I was pregnant at the time. So I was very nauseated with all of that. But, it's one of those things where it's like all of these little experiences start to stack up on top of one another. And all of a sudden, coconut is just that's the hill upon which I die.
Mm, there you go. Okay, so I like this tip from Lynette. She says, I found that hunger builds gradually while cravings usually come on suddenly. And that's a really
Ooh,
good tip.
Lynette, you need to make a little Canva post on that one because
Yeah,
that is rock solid.
that's a good one. Um, let's see. Connie says, for me, doing keto is hard enough. I feel like I have given up plenty. Yes, I feel that way too, where it's just like, really? Do I really have to give up more? Like,
I feel
that
like
doesn't
keto,
seem fair.
yeah, I feel like when I first went to the keto side and cut out the rice and cut out the all the things, there was always sort of like a little bit like, but then once it became second nature, it was like, oh, I'm not even thinking about it now. And then it's like I'm overthinking things. How can I turn these egg whites into rice? So it's like let's just go back to just what worked in the beginning.
Yeah, sometimes, well, I mean, we're always trying new things
That
and
is
they don't
accurate.
always end up sticking. And we don't know if they should stick or not until we try them. So there's no shame in trying something and being like, no, I'm going to go back to the way I was doing it before. I think I'm going
Absolutely.
to talk about this on my next weekly wellness update, but that's kind of where I've been with it played with the higher fat and trying to get the higher ketones, and I saw some benefits from that, but after doing it for various reasons, I'm like, I don't think that that's the direction I need to go forever.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
going back to like a little bit more protein centric and making sure I'm being moderate with the fat and stuff like that. So there's no shame in it. And we're always like, going back and forth, trying to figure out what's going to work and what's not. And how do we know unless we try?
True. And how do we know unless we try it for a period of time long enough to really discern it and
Right.
then allow ourselves the grace to step it back if we need to?
Which is why we need to do the raw lion diet for at least 7 years.
I don't have a
How
stream
else
out
will
back
we
to drink
know?
water. Or I'm already failed. I failed. I
I
can't
know.
do
Yeah,
it.
I wish there was a way to like, have a bunch of alternate realities and be like, okay, starting point Neely and all of them, and then do this, and do this, and do this, and do this, and let's see which one works, and then we'll do that one.
Oh, the variables get very complicated and all of that, though.
Sure does. So we can only
All
do
right.
what we can do. Let's see. Oh, Brenda says that her mom used to take the bones of cooked chicken, crack them open, and feed us the bone marrow.
I think
Have
it's
you done that?
awesome. And that's my mom in love.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Hello. Um, um, and with chicken bone marrow, like I feel like it's not the same texture at all to the beef bone marrow that we eat, and it seems like grainy. So I've never been drawn to try to eat chicken bone marrow, but I feel like if you cook it long enough, you're getting all those benefits in the broth. So I'm like,
Sure.
I don't feel like I need to eat the
Well,
bone.
so at Keto Palooza, Jonathan Shane I didn't realize he was sitting there actually eating the bones
Oh,
when Keto Chow had brought in some wings. I think that it was Buffalo Wild Wings. And there's Jonathan Shane just sitting there chowing down on wings. And I didn't realize he was actually eating the bones. And then I heard Chris, or was it either Chris or Joe? Somebody said something about the fact that he sat there eating the bones, like crunching away on them. And I'm like, I was sitting there at that table and
wow.
I saw None of that. How did I miss
That is
that?
like next level
Well, he
dedication.
is a ultra marathon runner, so
Oh, he goes intensely into anything he does? Is
I
that what you're
guess.
saying? If you're gonna eat
I
chicken wings,
guess.
you eat
Oh,
the
it
chicken
was
wings.
Chris claimed it. He said it was him who made that
Okay,
comment.
good.
Yeah, I
Okay,
totally missed
um,
that one.
there was a question. Okay, Sing It asked, "So, has anyone ordered the Equip bars yet?" Equip is coming out with a line of bars. Surprise! Yay! Um, and
No
they
clue.
it's been going back and forth like we're gonna put them out here and then it didn't quite work out. See, this is why Chris and Miriam are so stinking smart. They don't tell you anything until you can order it. and this is exactly why. So anyways, they were supposed to be out a month or two ago, and then it got pushed back, and right now, like just as of this morning, they sent out an email saying that they have a small batch available for purchase, and they want to get some feedback from people on how they like them, and then they'll have like more of a full big launch at some point later in the year or maybe in the new year. But the first one that's out is chocolate brownie, and I will say right here, there is some honey in the bars, and so they're not super strict keto. I think they're still pretty low carb, but there is some honey because they also use monk fruit. So
So
let me
it's
see.
technically like not even carnivore if there's monk fruit in it.
Oh, it's not carnivore at all. It's let me look. 12 grams of beef protein with added collagen, sweetened with honey and monk fruit. Let me see. Where's the and it has almond flour, I believe.
Oh, okay. So it's
Um
technically low carb then.
Depends on how much honey is in it. And I forget and I can't find. Oh, 3 grams of added sugar per bar. 6 grams of net carbs, 3 grams of added sugar.
So what's the total carb then?
I don't see that here. Hold on. I just want to see the nutrition facts, but I'm not. Oh, wait, there they are. There they are. Total carbs, 14 grams, 8 grams of dietary fiber, 5 total sugars, 3 grams of added sugar. So the ingredients are almond butter, a protein blend that has collagen and protein isolate, beef protein isolate. Then it has chicory root fiber, honey, cacao nibs, cacao powder, cocoa butter, sunflower lecithin, coconut oil, sea salt, monk fruit extract.
Mm,
So, I mean, it's a pretty clean bar.
yeah.
Um, it's it's I mean, it's as low net carbs and total carbs as other bars that are labeled keto, but they're not labeling it keto.
Okay.
So, I think it's a pretty solid.
You
So I
said it
would
was
feed it to my kid.
12 total grams of protein.
12 total grams of protein, 14 total grams of carbs, and 9 total grams of fat. Yeah. So they say 6 grams of net carbs,
Mm-hmm.
which there are plenty of keto bars that are
Well
labeled
within that
the
realm.
same, but I like that they didn't. I don't think they said that it's keto. They're just saying it's a beef protein, chocolate brownie protein bar thing. Yeah. It doesn't have any whey in it if someone has issues with whey. Dairy free, gluten free, of course. Yeah. So anyways, I have not tried it to answer the question, the actual question that was asked. I have not tried it yet. I'm not sure if they're planning to send any out to like affiliates or not. Sometimes they do that, sometimes they don't. And I have not ordered it yet. So, but I mean, it looked pretty good, and it's something that I would absolutely feed my kids and I would eat on occasion. I don't eat a lot of bars. But that's one that I'd be like, "Yeah, sure, I'd try that."
Stephanie Abels just asked if chicory root has a flavor. I've never noticed it have a flavor in anything that I've ever tried in the past. Isn't it just really more of a bulking fiber?
It's sweet. It's
Oh,
often used as a sweetener.
but it's got more bulk to it than if you like just did stevia or
Yes, I believe so. It's similar to like inulin,
yeah, okay, okay.
where it's like closer to like 1 to 1 with sugar.
Sure.
So it
Okay.
obviously would have more bulk than a stevia. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Let's see.
Oh, Francesca says chicory root is related to ragweed and causes a lot of allergy problems in people besides upsetting the tummies. That's interesting because isn't stevia also one of those that's
Yeah.
associated with the ragweed family? That's
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've historically had issues with chicory root, like with my digestion, but since I did my SIBO protocols,
Mm-hmm.
a lot better. Not something that I would like really be excited to add a lot to my diet, but I can at least have an occasional item with it in there and not die.
Sure, sure.
Uh, all right. Yeah, I didn't know it was a rag. That's interesting.
Oh no.
Hmm?
Huh. Is it happening again? You're frozen.
I'm
Is
frozen.
it me? Is it
Um,
me?
can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I can hear you, but it
Okay.
started to freeze up on the image and I was like, "Oh dear."
Okay. You kind of glitched for a second, but I can see you now just fine. Are you still there? Can you
I'm
hear me?
here. I'm
Okay.
here.
Can you see me?
I can see you.
Okay,
Should I
good.
keep moving so that you see me moving?
You're good. I think we're okay. Oh, Stephanie says that she eats the tails on the shrimp. I couldn't do that. I could not get behind that. Sorry.
I can't get behind eating shrimp, period. So I
Oh,
will happily allow you all of the shrimp if we ever sit down to a meal of seafood together.
Adrian is such a fan of Levi, and you know what? I am too.
I
I,
think Levi's a fan of Levi too.
just a little bit, a little
He's
bit. But
so
you know, how
much.
could
I
you
love
not
it.
be? How could you not be? He is something else.
He is definitely a ham. And he
Yes.
wants to be in the videos
Yes,
always.
he does.
He's always there for it.
He
On
is.
camera talent.
He is. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay. My brother Halden is giving us interesting
Fun facts.
information, fun facts. German
I love
chocolate
fun
cake
facts.
has nothing to do with Germany. It's the name of the baker who originally made it in New York. And yeah, coconut is the worst. Yeah. That is fascinating.
I did not know that.
German.
But coconut is actually the worst.
It is.
I did know that.
So, have you ever liked Mounds bars or almond
Nope.
joys? Okay. I
Nope.
don't mind those. Like if it's if it's a coconut thing. I'm just not into adding coconut on top of a chocolate thing.
Yeah, my mom loved Mounds and
Mhm.
Almond Joys, and she would buy like the little pack of like 10 miniature fun sized bars or whatever from the grocery
Mhm.
store and put them in a candy bowl, and she would just have one every now and then. That was a surefire way to ensure that they would always be there because I thought those were absolutely the worst.
Mm.
Why would you ever put almonds and coconut into chocolate?
I can understand. I can understand. I'm able to appreciate it, but I understand that other people feel the same way. There's some things where it's like, how could anyone not like this? You know, like that just doesn't make sense to me.
Like
And then
steak.
other things where it's like, I can appreciate it, but I recognize that other people could have different taste. So that's one of those for me.
Yeah. Don't anticipate any kind of almond joy dupes on a keto diet from my channel.
Oh,
That's all
okay.
I'm saying.
All right. Well, I'll work on one if someone desperately needs one. Okay. Talking about chicory root.
Lots of
Yeah.
chicory root discussion. I do know that is it Cryo Brew or Cryo Brew that's made from chicory root. I know
Yeah.
that was kind of like a popular thing. I also know that there was dandelion root used as like a coffee replacement
Yes.
for quite some time.
Yes. Chicory root and dandelion root. you can, have them by themselves, or they're often ingredients in like coffee substitute things. And fun fact, I just ordered some coffee substitute items. It felt wrong. Actually, so yeah, I've been like playing with the idea of giving up coffee for a while again, because I've done it before and I've had that experience, but like so much has changed in my life that I'm like, maybe I should try it again, like kind of like where you go off alcohol for, like some people do, go off alcohol for a month just to prove to themselves that they can live without it. And I was like, maybe I should do that. But so I ordered a sampler pack from this company. I think it's called Rasa, Rasa. And one of them is actually, it has coffee in it. So it's like you start with that and then you can move to ones that don't actually have coffee in them. So anyways, I don't know. I bought it and I'm like, I'm going to try it. And if it's like really good, then I'll be like, okay, maybe I can do this. But if it's terrible, then I'll be like, well, that's not worth it. I'm sorry. I just broke your heart.
I just don't know what to do from here. We almost made it a year with Coffee Chat, and here you are just dropping a bomb on us.
Well, I haven't started yet. I still have coffee. It's still coffee.
For now.
For now.
Until that package arrives on your doorstep and all
maybe,
of a sudden
hey, maybe if I like
fake coffee. I thought we didn't do fake here.
I'm sorry.
There's no time for
I just totally ruined the entire chat.
I can't. I don't know what to do. I'm out.
Hey, maybe if I like, and this is all a big if. Like, I'm not saying it's actually happening. I just ordered.
That's what parents say whenever something is changing.
Maybe.
I've heard this before.
If I reduce the coffee, then like every week on our coffee chat is like my one day a week where I get to have coffee. That could be a thing. And it would still be a coffee chat. And I'd be so excited about it. Even more so than I am now.
We're just going to take this to therapy after we get off the live.
So, yeah, we're going to have words.
And on a totally different note, Chris Bear said that he and Lynette decided 30 minutes ago that we were supposed to be talking about something entirely different.
Oh, well, we didn't get the memo.
I mean, it was in the chat, so I feel like that's technically a memo sent and received. Can you find his little doodad? Pop it up.
Wait, is it a recent comment or an older one?
I mean, why can't we be friends? It's just like maybe like 10 backwards. Nope. Go down further.
There's nothing down further.
Chris Bear. Yes. I thought we were going to talk about pumpkin sausage soup. Lynette and I decided that like it's 30 minutes ago. Not just 30 minutes ago, like 30 minutes ago. So Valley Girl Chris just came out and they decided this like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah. Well, okay. So here's the deal. We both made videos about pumpkin sausage soup.
So we can't discuss it.
So
we don't talk about
you have
the
to like and subscribe if you want updates.
Like and subscribe.
Like our cliffhanger. Like, did we like it? I don't know.
It's not even a cliffhanger. It's a hook.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. You got to watch our channel, man. No spoilers.
Indubitably. I got to stop doing that. That's fun.
Okay. Blaze says that if I stop drinking as much coffee, that means you just get to drink mine.
The issue with that is I already drink enough for my half of the state.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I've been struggling with this so hard because I love black coffee, so it just feels like I'm drinking hot water with delightful flavor to it. Yeah, and so I'm not as moderate with it, like I drink it throughout the entire morning, and then when we have our coffee chats, and then sometimes it's an afternoon cup of coffee as a little afternoon ritual, if you will. And it's
Mhm.
just really, I mean, I would argue like over half of the coffee I drink is decaf. So it's
Okay.
more about the flavor of the coffee than anything else.
Okay. I just can't do
Which
decaf anymore. Like, I'm like, it's not worth drinking. Which means I probably have a problem with the I'm drinking it for the caffeine, even though it doesn't seem like it. I don't know.
so to me, the flavor of the coffee is what makes it worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't
I
know.
don't need to have all the extra fluffies. I just need my little coffee bean water.
Yeah. Yeah. I pretty much will drink 2 and sometimes 3 cups in a day.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's pretty moderate, but still, I'm curious to know what my life would be like without it.
And now I feel obligated to try it with you, which
Oh,
is
wow.
really,
I
really
did
where
not
all of my
expect
feelings
that.
came from. That's why I was feeling that way. Like, how dare you? Because we have to do the same things all the time. Like,
Oh,
that's how this works.
that would be an interesting thing to do together. I don't know. We're gonna have to talk about this offline. This is such a serious conversation.
It's life altering.
It's serious.
I don't know how to function
I know. I know.
if we do this.
Alright. Marie's asking if I ordered mud water, which I have seen lots of,
So
ads.
many ads.
I did not order that. I ordered Rasa, Rasa, and they have a whole bunch of different options, and they have sampler packs. And so I ordered their bestseller sampler pack, and I think it's like 5 different ones. And so there's original, and that one doesn't have coffee in it. And then there's bold, and I don't remember what that one is different. And then there's dirty, which has coffee in it also. So I'm gonna start with the dirty. And then I think there was another one, but anyways, I have no idea if it tastes good yet. It's supposed to come today. I think it's supposed to come today. So we shall see. But
Can you
I've done the Dandy blend. That's not bad, but it does have some carbs in it.
ah
Because they use, I forget, sugar beets or something. I don't know.
oh
Yeah.
sure. Can you put up Susan Olson's most recent little comment there? Because I got a question. Nope. No.
Not that one? Oh,
Further
reason.
up, like
Yeah,
the most
okay,
recent, most
okay,
recent.
okay.
So she says she gave up coffee in July and came back August. And I have a question. Does that mean that you gave up coffee on July 31st and came back on August 1st?
I do that every single month.
I always give up coffee at like 8 p.m. on the last day of the
Mhm.
month.
Uh-huh.
And then I always come back to it the following month.
Yeah, yeah. That's your coffee fast. I mean, you gotta do it every once in a while.
It's a
Um,
tricky one.
yeah,
It's tricky.
that's funny. Okay, Stephanie said that she ordered the mud water and didn't care for the taste.
Okay.
Okay, and so oops, yeah. Mushrooms is mud water. So it's made with mushrooms, I assume?
Sure. Like a chaga or something to that effect. Or maybe it's
Yeah.
got the lion's mane in it, like
So
what Keto Brains has.
yeah, oh, speaking of keto brains, I finally bit the bullet and ordered keto brains while I was watching your video of you guys talking at the desk or
Keto Palooza.
yeah, yeah. So I
Oh,
finally ordered it, so I'm gonna
Suzanne.
try it. So if I were to give up heavy cream and coffee and replace them with keto brains and this other coffee substitute that has all kinds of adaptogens in it, I'm gonna become superhuman. I mean,
Yep.
I feel like that's the only possibility.
That is the only possibility, unless you got bit by a mushroom that gave you the superpowers.
Yeah, I'm still working
Also,
on that.
Suzanne, she said that she actually gave it up all month for July. I wanted you to play along with our joke, Suzanne.
Um,
And also, Connie, if the friend jumps off the bridge, it's probably because I pushed them off the bridge and then I was ready to fall afterwards.
okay. Let me so this is what the one that I ordered. See, because I'm not fancy enough to actually have a picture to put up on the screen.
It
It's
We're still learning.
Rapsa.
Okay.
And it has all kinds of adaptogens in it, and it's supposed to, like, not only be a flavorful substitute for coffee, but also, like, give you energy, but without all the bad stuff, that coffee gives you.
Sure. I
Um,
do tend to wonder, like, if a caffeine reset wouldn't be appropriate.
yeah. Sorry. I'm sorry. I just ruined your whole month. This is what I ordered. It's just a sampler pack, so there's 4 servings in each pack.
Okay.
There's a calm, something that's supposed to be calm. But anyways, it's fun and exciting, but then also very sad.
Yeah.
I have all the feels about it. So,
So
but it has
have you
adaptogens and
okay.
mushrooms and all that stuff.
So you put a lot of like barricades on the whole, like, maybe, I don't know, we have to wait and see. What like, is there a time frame that you're operating within for this?
Well, I need to taste the stuff, because if I taste it and it's horrible, like, I have to have something to replace the ritual with. Like,
Yeah.
I know myself well enough that just to be like, "I'm gonna give up coffee cold turkey and drink hot water instead," like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just not.
Yeah.
And so I wanna taste this, and if it's good, then I'll be like, "Okay, maybe I can do this." If it's bad, I might try a couple other options.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, I liked that this one had the one kind that had coffee in it, because I know I can't go cold turkey.
Yeah.
I need to wean off of it. And if this is a way to, like,
Get
support
there.
my adrenals and wean off of it a little bit easier, then might be worth a try. So when
Solid.
I went off coffee back in it was either 2019 or 2020, I did it when the pandemic started, when everyone had to stay home all the time. And I was like, This is my opportunity to not have to see people and do anything and stay home." So I did it, and it was rough
Yeah.
for a long time, more than 2 weeks. It was really rough. But I had a lot of other underlying things going on that I didn't know, the iron deficiency and all of that, and so I'm a little nervous about trying again because it was rough. Insomnia, horrible, which you do not expect when you go off caffeine. Everyone's like, "You're gonna sleep better." It was horrible. I could not sleep for like 3 months. Um, it was it was horrible. So I'm nervous about that. But I am also extremely curious. And the fact that I had that terrible of a reaction when I gave it up before makes me wonder if it's not as good for me as I hope it was.
Yeah.
There you go. Anyways.
Well, we shall see.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe to follow along.
For updates. Cliffhanger. Oh,
It's
yeah.
gonna be great.
Anyways, I did not intend for the chat to go that direction, but here we are.
I know we've come a long way.
Yeah, we have. Whew. And then we never did talk about the pumpkin sausage soup. So
I
there you go.
know. I know.
Yeah. But
All right.
we will be sharing all
Yeah.
about the pumpkin sausage soup coming up soon. So stay tuned.
Yes.
Like,
Definitely stay
subscribe.
tuned.
Be sure to turn on the bell so you can be notified when we talk about sausage soup.
Do all the things that proper YouTubers tell you to do
Yes.
so that you can be informed of all the things that YouTubers want you to be informed of.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. What else?
But
needs
only
to be
proper
said?
ones.
All
We're
right.
just regular people.
Anything else in the chat that we needed to get to? Sing It said felt like crap for 2 weeks when she got off coffee, and then finally evened out. So that's good.
Well, hopefully this stuff, if it tastes good, you can come
Oh,
at it with some kind of a plan of attack with
yeah.
strategery to
Yeah.
manage it well.
Yes. Well, and the fun thing about this company, it's one of those companies that, like, make it an experience to order from them. It's like, we're gonna send you an email each day with all of this info, and then we're gonna and they like try to make it super fun, like you're joining a cult.
Love bomb.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm like, all right, maybe I'll just enter into that and have it be enjoyable. I don't know.
Oh, it's a good time. Hey, we're at an hour, five
Yes, we are.
minutes. And I'm pretty sure that I heard a timer go off in my kitchen because I
Oh,
may
yeah.
or may not have put something in the oven right before
Uh-oh.
I was able to log on.
All right. Well, with that, let's say goodbye to everyone this week. We will be back next week, same time, same place.
You
And
got it.
stay tuned for pumpkin sausage soup videos.
Bye, y'all.
Bye,